Hello, I'm John, the executive producer here at Final Show Films. I got a few notes for you before the show. First, I want to thank you all for watching. We couldn't do what we do or the amount of things that we do without the support of you, the viewer. If you want to support us financially, which we always appreciate, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, where you can donate as little as $1 a month to help us continue this and all the things that we do. I want to give a special shout out to our $25 supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. Second, I want to let you all know that we here at Final Show Films are planning a little get-together up at Gen Con this year. That's August 2nd through 5th up at Indianapolis. We're going to be up there just sort of hanging out, enjoying the con, spending time together, and if any of you guys want to come up and say hi, please feel free. We don't bite unless you want us to. And if you enjoy whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to, be sure to check out our website at finalshowfilms.com, where you can find links to all of our other content, both podcast and video. And be sure to follow me at John A. Bates on Twitter for more updates on all of the content we're creating in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. We're live!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to West Rising, the Werewolf the Apocalypse Chronicle. I am your slightly congested storyteller for the evening, Michelle, and let me introduce my players on the off chance you don't already know them. John?
I'm John, and I'm playing Shadow, the Get of Fenris Arun.
And Aaron?
Hi, I'm Erin, and I am playing Thistle, the children of Gaia. I'm always going to have trouble conjugating that in this instance. I'm really sorry. The children of Gaia Theurge.
And Jack.
Hi everybody, I'm Jack, and I'm playing Tig Connolly, the Fianna Ragabash.
And Craig.
Hi, I'm Craig. I'm playing Grudek, the Bonar Galliard.
And last but not least, William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing C. Walsh, the Uktana Philodox.
All right. When last we left our wolf pack, they were just on their way out to finally deal with the situation with Thistle's parents. Zermom, in particular, has been sending text message after text message saying, "Where are you?" So they were finally going to address that situation and hopefully decrease aggro from that direction a little bit. On the way out, they ran into the Sept's worm foe, Silverglare, who has apparently committed an act of kidnapping because she has an 8-year-old girl with her, the sister of the young black spiral dancer who stole the fetish that they recovered for their rite of passage. So now we are dealing with Shadow, who's stayed back at the Sept for the time being, and then the other 4 were just on their way out when this happened. So, what are you going to do next?
Oh, fucking shite.
Silverglare, you brought her back. I'm so glad. Is she okay?
Does she look okay? She gestures to the girl who's looking somewhat shell-shocked. Her eyes are the size of saucers, and she's... her body language suggests that she trusts Silverglare and is a little bit clingy with her, but when she sees Grudek, she actually seems to brighten up a little bit, like she recognizes him and feels like this is good news that this very strange-looking man is standing there. She still doesn't say anything, though.
He immediately takes off his hat and sort of holds it in front of him and walks up to them slowly, but kind of holding himself back. He doesn't want to spook her, otherwise he'd be running up.
She does inch just a little bit closer to Silverglare, but she still looks at him with more interest than fear.
Okay. He gets close and then we'll kind of hunker down to bring his head level with hers and say, have you ever been to the park before? You're really going to like it. There are so many fantastic places. We have just wonderful place for you to stay. Do you want to wear my hat? Okay, that's all right. It doesn't look so good on me. Probably would look even worse on you. But if you change your mind, it's okay.
She still has this slightly shell-shocked, sullen look, but she just continues looking at him and doesn't seem utterly terrified. She's at least not screaming that wonderful police whistle scream that she was screaming the last time you saw her.
100% improvement over my last interactions.
Tag kind of waves a hand to try and get Silverglare's attention.
Where are you off to? She says to the rest of you. And she just gives him, now he understands where she got her name, because she gives him that glare that seems to eat through his skin and burn like aggravated damage. Basically a STFU kind of a glare. And then repeats her question. So where are you off to, the four of you?
We're headed off to get those prints done and also deal with a personal matter.
All right. Well, if you need anything, well, I guess you can't call me while I'm here, but
We can send a message if we need to.
Right. And he looks over at Thistle and says, "You didn't really need me along anyway, right? I can go back. We can use Totem. Keep in touch."
Yeah, whatever's easiest for you.
Okay.
We're good.
Oh, that's right. And if you three need anything, you can tell Grudek, and he'll pass along the message. All right. Well, be careful. She says, apparently not having followed her own advice.
And Grudek repeats that, looking intently at each of them. She's right. Be careful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll handle this, and we'll be back as soon as we can. Grudek, try not to be too much of a mother hen, but we know you a little bit.
All right. Try not to terrify anyone with your intensity, Stormheart. And he gives you a wink and pats you on the shoulder if you let him.
He lets you. He just kind of like suppresses a chuckle just faintly.
He's like, that's already getting all around the Sept, right?
When Marshall Lyon said it, I suppose I should have expected it.
Probably so. All right. You all be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
If we do, we'll name it after you.
That doesn't...
That's fair.
So, you guys have got like about an hour walk down to the car, and then probably more than an hour's drive, given that you're going out to Thistle's neck of the woods. So how long is that by car, do you think? Given that,
would you say it's morning traffic time?
Yeah, it's about 9 a.m. So it's gonna be
quick. 9 a.m., not 9 p.m.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the morning after. Yeah.
Storyteller wants to change it, I'm not fighting, but it's probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours by car. Because the morning traffic almost exclusively comes into the city. So going out once you get past the city itself shouldn't be that bad.
Okay. So we'll say like an hour.
A little bit of a dial back, though.
Oh, sorry.
We get about 30 seconds down the trail, and Tig's voice comes over the brainwave. Very quiet, very intense. Grudek, I'll need you to keep an eye on everything that happens as soon as that wee Colleen gets into the cairn. I want to know exactly who sees her, in what order, how they react. I need to know exactly who is happy to have her there, who is opposed, who is confused and unable to make up their mind at the moment. Obviously, Silverglare has made up her decision on the matter, but we need to know exactly detailed reports of every single reaction that we get to this girl making her appearance inside our Sept. Can you do that for me, lad?
And you hear back through the totem link. That's an excellent idea, Tig. Don't worry, I'll do my best to keep up with it. Although, if my suspicions are correct, I think that the shit is going to hit the fans as soon as we arrive with her in tow.
Oh, I've no fucking doubt of that.
You be careful too, okay?
Oh, you know me. Never getting into any trouble.
Over the telepathic link, you just hear, "I will meet Grudek at the gate."
Shadows.
Keep each other safe, please.
We're bringing the small girl from the apartment that we met. Remember, we don't know that she's worm tainted. She's here under Silvergrare's protection.
I gathered as much.
So given that now it's 3 of you, right? The 3 of you that are going to Thistle's parents' place are going to have like an hour, 45 minutes in the car or something. If there's anything you guys are planning to like discuss, scheme, plan, or otherwise do before you get there, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll start in on you guys eavesdropping on the Sept business and then switch to you guys' arrival once you get there. Does that work?
Cool.
All right. So because it is the park is open, there aren't a ton of people there yet because it is early and people are not going to be early risers on a Friday morning, which it is. You do have to wait though a second for like one couple to walk past on the path before you guys can shift into Krynos form. And weirdly enough, the little girl does not seem alarmed, and it looks like she and Silverglare have kind of gone through this already because she just climbs up onto her back like she's already been shown how to do this, and Silverglare leaps and climbs over the entrance with the girl with her arms wrapped around her neck. And I assume Grudek follows her back in.
Yeah. Do you want me to make an athletics check or?
No. Nothing to be gained from failing that roll. So.
Thank you, Michelle.
I am waiting on the other side in Hamid form with C's sword tucked into my belt, like sort of in the back of the belt, because I don't know that C has a frog or a sword belt. So
no, he actually just has the sheath that he kind of carries and attaches to his jacket when he's not carrying it. So it's actually just the sheath.
Yeah, so it's just like in the back of my belt right now. Not very elegant, but solidly there. Sort of staying there with arms crossed, looking at the 3 of them as they land in.
Okay. So as soon as Silverglare lands, she shifts back. The girl slides down off her back, and she does not look happy to see Shadow.
Who, the girl?
Yeah.
I don't know.
She just cowers behind Silverglare.
No, it's. I remember he was very scary. I know, but he's a good friend to all of us and to you. He really will be.
And Tim Rowantree, the Cairn Warder, strides over as soon as he catches a glimpse from a distance of Silverglare's flaming red hair. And when he sees the little girl there, he just sort of stops dead in his tracks. And, he's a pretty chill guy, but even he is just sort of like, head tilt WTF written all over his face.
That's fair.
One ear flops to the side.
Silverglare, who's your friend? This is Emma. Tell you what, Grudek, why don't you take Emma to meet the other kids? And I'm going to have a talk with Tim for a bit, all right? Can you do that?
Of course. Emma, do you want to come with me? I have some pachki, some donuts. We'll go get them, and you can meet lots of other friends, some a little older, some just your age, some younger. Does that sound good?
She looks like she didn't hear anything after donuts. When he says donuts, her eyes just light up with a savage, almost feral hunger. And she's like, donuts. And hears nothing after that and follows him immediately.
He's a Galliard. He knows his audience.
And Silverglare goes off toward the amphitheater to speak with Tim.
Shadow going... What's Shadow doing?
I'm gonna follow, unless they explicitly like wave me off. I'm going to follow after Silverglare and Tim because A, the girl's scared of me. B, I want to know what the fuck happened.
Okay.
Then through the totem, like Grudek will say, Shadow, will I take her and get her settled? You heard Tag's suggestion. I think it's a very good one. Can you take over watching everyone, making sure how they react, and letting us know until I can come back and join you?
I will indeed, though I would keep an eye out on the others you introduced the girl to as well.
No, of course. Probably Bridge Runner will be first, but if anyone comes to see, I will certainly report in.
So you can all assume that everything that Shadow is hearing right now, he is
Yeah, I am
also
siphoning
passing along.
I am just siphoning it all back.
So this is all common knowledge.
Yay!
So Silverglare glances back and sees that Shadow is following, but she doesn't seem bothered by this at all, and she just continues over to the amphitheater, takes a seat, and says, "Look, Tim, I understand the girl is Black Spiral kinfolk. It's dubious at best to have her here, but she is 8 years old. She was left alone in the building by her mother. I stayed there all night, and I watched, and her mother came back, went into the building, and then left again not 20 minutes later with the little girl in there. So I went inside and I looked for her, and I found her not in the apartment where she was living, but in another one. There was a woman living there who was trying to get her to eat a rat. So I took the girl with me. And I'm not saying this has to be a permanent situation, but I'm not having an 8-year-old girl eating rats by herself while her family has abandoned her, if there's anything I can do about it. So we're going to get her a decent meal. We're going to maybe talk to her a little bit, find out what we can find out. If she'll talk, she hasn't said but a word since I found her. Yes and no, and that's about it. But I wasn't going to leave her there. I wasn't. She was terrified. The woman had taken a rat out of a trap and cooked it there in her room and was trying to feed it to this girl. No, I wasn't going to stand for that. So here she is, and if you feel there's any punishment you need to dole out, I will take it. I will take this on me, but I wasn't going to leave her, and that's that. And Tim just is watching her this whole time as she's giving her whole little speech and just...
Hey, that's some Black 47 potato famine bullshit.
Just nods calmly. I
No,
can't say that I wouldn't have done the same. But I'm
Even the
glad you
Norse
understand the problem. And Grudek, what are you up to over in Tentville?
I think he does exactly what he said. He's going to go back to his area and get some of the pastries that he made first thing that morning and get them out and gather them up and let her grab one for each hand, and then he'll grab the rest of a little tray and say, "Okay, come on, let's go meet the others. You ready?"
She nods and she's stuffing pastry into her mouth as she nods, like she's in the process of cramming the food into her mouth with ravenous eagerness. He
He watches that for a little bit. He says, "Okay, later today we have soup, but right now you've had a rough day. You have as many as you want for now." And he doesn't mean that, but that's what he's saying. And then we'll go over towards the cabin where the other kids are.
Okay.
Just faintly over the link as Shadow is relaying all of this. C just kind of says, "We combat the worm wherever it dwells and whenever it breeds, and here we seek to combat it before it breeds in the heart of a small child."
Question for my because I, the player, don't know, but Shadow might. How likely would it be that this child is a Trojan horse?
As far as what you guys would know, we're operating on the assumption that she is the sister of a Black Spiral Dancer, which means she's at the very least kinfolk. Probably not, probability-wise speaking, probably not Guru. She's probably just a regular kinfolk kid. But there's no way to know how much she knows or what her intentions might be. She's 8 years old, or that's what she has said anyway. And that's pretty much all you know.
So I guess the clarification there would be on what I know about spirits, and I'd be willing to ask Thistle if I don't have an answer.
Oh,
Because the owl spirits that we talk to, it seems that you have to have somebody that has been in the cairn to adequately navigate here through the Umbra. How easy would it be to navigate here through the Umbra without the spirits letting you, but with somebody whom you have a blood relation to or some sort of spiritual connection to physically in the camp?
Someone, if you were with someone in the Umbra who knew the way, they could lead you through the Umbra. But this girl has not yet seen the way through the Umbra. She has only seen the way on the physical plane, which is completely different.
So as far as I know, she can't be used as a homing beacon. Basically.
Yeah, even if she could go to the Umbra, which Aaron, I think you're muted. Did you have a question or?
No.
Oh, okay. But yeah, even if she could go to the Umbra, which most kinfolk cannot, she still wouldn't know the way, even though she's seen it on this side, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Sort of follow-up related question. If she was not in the Umbra, but on the physical plane, here in the cairn, she couldn't act as a beacon.
Yeah.
Like the GPS, she couldn't act as a GPS destination marker.
Or a lighthouse or something.
Not that you're aware of. No.
Okay.
That's
not a thing that people do all the time type of thing that I'm missing. Okay, cool.
Nope.
Thank you. That's kind of what I was trying to get at too, because I was just trying to, because Shadow is currently determining how big of a threat the girl is right now.
Well, and he can also take into account that Tim, who probably would know more of the types of things that could be threats, is obviously unnerved, but not completely freaking out. Not that you've ever seen him completely freak out, but while he seems faintly disapproving, he's not threatening to kick Silver Glare out of the cairn or anything.
And he also admitted that he would have done the same thing in that same situation.
And that's true, but we've already been established that we don't know who we can trust. So.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody could be fucking with you.
So in that case, I'll just remain sort of silent and watching unless interacted and relaying anything they say back.
Okay. So Grudek, let's see. You've taken Emma to Bridge Runner's area where he has the kids sleeping. Siobhan and her brother Oshin are Siobhan is about Emma's age, and they are playing some kind of very complicated game with sticks and rocks that has rules that they clearly understand. But they see, new kid, and they stop and they just kind of look at her like, huh?
Grudek will sort of wave to them with his, I guess probably the hand that he's sort of, probably not because she seems a little skittish, just sort of hover hand guiding her in this direction if she starts to go off. He'll raise that and wave at them and say, "Good morning, Siobhan, Oshin. How's Stick Rock going today?"
Oshin's winning again. I swear he cheats.
That's
Who's
okay.
that?
Oh, this is Emma. Your mom brought her back. Your mom's fine. She's home. She's talking, one of those boring talks over in the auditorium. But she's back. Everything's okay. And she brought a new friend.
Hi. And Siobhan gets up and goes and puts her hand out, which Emma just stares at. She's not sure what to think about this. But Siobhan's like, "Hi, my name's Siobhan. I'm 8. How old are you?" And Emma just stares at her and doesn't say anything. And Siobhan looks at Grudek like, what is her problem?
Grudek says, Emma doesn't talk a lot right now. You guys know how sometimes you don't feel like talking. Emma's just having a day like that.
I always feel like talking.
I know. You. That's why you and I we get along so well, right? But sometimes people don't feel like talking so much, and Emma, she's having one of those days now. But it's okay.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
brought snacks. You guys can have snacks. And Emma, I know you don't feel like talking, and that's okay. Do you feel like listening? Maybe you can hear all about the very good game Stick Rock.
Yeah, I'll teach you all the rules. It's fine, Papa Gridek. I can handle this, she says.
Okay. Emma, is that okay? You want? I can hang out for a while. I always forget how Stick Rock works. Maybe I hang out nearby.
Emma just looks at him and doesn't say anything, but there is a faintly pleading look to her expression like, don't you dare leave.
Grudek will lean over and he'll say very quietly, say, okay, do you want me to sit and watch like this? Or do you want me to watch like Big White Puppy?
Don't change.
Okay. I stay just like this. You have to look, but that's your problem because you have to look at this big ugly face.
And she actually smiles just like a little bit at that, but then stops as though she was caught doing something like very uncool and frowns again.
And Grudek will sort of lower his voice even more and wave in Siobhan and Oshan and say, okay, you guys, I tell you what, you be patient with me while I learn this game. And the next time, you can't tell Bridge Runner, the next time I go into town, I'll bring you back some soda pop.
Okay.
Okay. I assume Bridge Runner isn't around.
No, he's not currently visible. He may be off in the city doing business or something, but he's not around at the moment.
Is his folding chair around?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Grudek will sort of plop himself down there, bring it over maybe a little closer to the kids, and sort of settle himself down, and watch the kids, but also sort of keep an eye out and keep his ears open to see if anyone else is approaching.
Okay. So, how are you guys in the car doing? Are you discussing anything, making any plans, or are you mostly just listening in?
After that sort of comment in response to C's thing, this will be pretty quiet unless.
Yeah, Tig's feeling pretty good about sort of the base planning they'd done for meeting Thistle's family, so he's definitely lasered in on what he's picking up from. It's a loose term with a
planning for the espionage to protect the Magic Werewolf Society.
It's true.
Okay.
Coming to theaters this summer, Werewolf Spies.
He came up with in order to deal with Thistle's parents.
All right.
C is visually very focused on the road, on where he's going, but internally, he's very much halfway listening to the conversation and halfway trying to figure out potentially what the signal would be if the Black Spirals get tipped off to the fact that the girl is missing, what the next act from Mother and the brother would be, and where that next step would be from.
I do have something that I want to say to Silver Glare and Tim. So after a minute of thinking.
Tim seems cool with you hanging out there too. So
to the two of them, does this not pose a threat to the Sept if the girl's parents and siblings and other kin were to notice her gone and decide to hunt her down? Would it not lead her here, or lead them here?
Tim considers this for a moment. He always seems to take just like a minute to think before he says anything. And you can't tell if it's because he's, cautious or if he's just not that bright.
I assume he does the thing that Shadow does. Shadow assumes he does the same thing that he does, which is gather thoughts first, then speak, using the least amount of effort.
Yeah. He seems to consider this for a moment, and then he turns to Silver Glare and he says, what are the chances you think you were seen? And Silver Glare says, well, I didn't even go in the building until after the mother had already left. I was watching from across the street. The mother had no reason to know me or recognize me as anyone in connection with any of this. She's never seen me before. I waited until she got in her van, the same van, by the way, that rusty yellow van, and drove away. And then I went into the building to look for the girls. So unless I want to say homeless woman, but she did sort of have a home. She was living in that building, squatting there anyway. Other than that woman, there was no one who saw me with the girl. And I don't get the idea that she was friends with the girl's mom.
Shadow, ask if this woman who was feeding the rat was talking about the end of the world. You remember the one that needed the carbs?
Back through the telepathic link in a moment. But for the child to go missing mere days after their home was intruded upon by agents of the Sept, I doubt it would take much brilliance for the Black Spirals to connect those dots.
The girl had already run away. When I went into the building, she apparently was hiding from her mom. She saw that her mom had come back into the building. This was all I was able to get out of her. She wouldn't speak much, but she did say that when she heard her mom come in, that she hid from her. So she was already not planning on going back with her. So the girl was already not to be found before I ever even took her. The mother went in, and that was why she left so quick, is that she saw that the girl was gone. But she was just hiding down the hall. And her mother didn't look that hard, apparently.
Hey, Grudek?
Speaking of 8-year-olds, sorry. Yeah. Yes, Thistle.
Does anyone at the Sept sign sign language?
I don't know as a player. I think Grudek would probably know. He's been here, I think, the longest of everybody except for Shadow, right? So
Thistle perceives Grudek as the one who has socialized with the Sept. Whether or not that is accurate is
no,
not.
that's probably fair. I should have been more direct. I was actually asking Michelle if no, it's fine. I don't know as a player, but
No, not at this particular Sept. There aren't any who sign.
no, official. I don't think there is anyone who does.
I have a thought, but other priorities, I guess.
No, sure. I mean, unless you all are finished with your drive. I mean, I'm here. Shadow is listening. I'm here with children, keeping an eye. Please share your thoughts.
We're only out by a few minutes. We've got over an hour.
That's fair. If she's having trouble talking, obviously, first probably to wait for her to adjust a bit. But if she doesn't want to talk with words, he might be more comfortable with another format. Writing, sign, stuff like that.
That's a very good idea. I don't know sign myself, but I do know that the kids have how you say sketch pads and Crayola. You know.
I'll bring some picture books that might be useful for that too.
Great. That's very good.
We're not letting this become a terror situation.
No, it's very good. When they're finished with their game of stick rock, don't ask. I'll maybe see if they want to draw. See what Emma can draw.
Yeah.
And then back to Silver Glare. This old woman that you found her with, out of curiosity, was she speaking of the end of days?
No, and she wasn't that old either. She probably wasn't any older than I am.
Good to know.
Shadow, tell her that means very young.
Critic. Smooth talker.
Just say it, Shadow.
How smart is Shadow about this?
You
How
just get
uncomfortable
back.
is Shadow with this?
You just get back confusion.
Don't worry about it. Just say it. Trust me.
So in the amphitheater, as if reading from a prompter. Then that must mean very young.
Oh, aren't you charming?
You get
How
you
charming
get
this one is, Tim.
through the mental link. You get just an image of a hand going like.
More confusion back.
In the car, there is some level of laughing.
I am still concerned.
Well, I am too, says Tim. Now, I don't think she should stay here, but I do agree that it does seem cruel to just leave her in an abandoned building. I was going to go to the city later today to speak with my daughter, who's in the police force, and maybe I can ask her, what could be done with the girl to help her.
Got astray.
But mostly I'm going to check out where that van has been, see if she can get people on the van and track it.
I've got a question for the group of us. Out of game, was Child Protective Services something we talked about out of game or in game?
I feel like that was in game.
Yeah, it was
That was,
in
that
was
was
in-game.
definitely in game, yeah.
So Shadow will go. I believe there are services for the protection of
No.
children.
No, that
My experience with them, says Tim, suggests to me that we should be careful and not just dump her on their mercy because random foster care situation may add another spark to this powder keg that we may not want.
and through the psychic link, there's sort of a identical impression coming from Thistle.
Through the psychic link you all get, I sense there's more than just the protection of children involved with these services.
Just because that's their title doesn't mean they're good at their job.
Yes. The purpose of the organization is to protect children. Not everyone within it is as good as everyone else within it.
And there are some who work there who are very dedicated to what they do and simply don't have enough time or resources to do it. But I've also heard of cities where the worm has its tendrils throughout all government agencies, including this, and they use it as a way to find young Garou.
Back through the mental link. Then we should hunt them down.
Shadow's answer to everything.
Shadow, if one tree in the forest has an infection, do you burn down the forest?
No, you remove the tree.
Exactly. So, yes, if we find out if there are for certain people in the city who work there who do this, I will be right there with you. Right behind you. Slightly to the left and back, but right there with you. But we need to find out who those people are first. Can't barge in. Like I say, many of them are still... Remember metaphor? The same thing. Many of them are good, strong trees doing just what they should do, serving the purpose of the wild.
So while Grudek is explaining all this, Tim is very gently explaining to Silver Glare that while he understands why she did what she did, that this is the kind of thing that she might generally want to tell him about first before just hauling off and doing. To which she rather acerbically replies that, if there were cell phone service in the Sept, she would happily have flued him in first. But her choices were to leave the child there with a woman trying to feed her a rat or to come back with her. And so they, there's a little bit of bristling, a little bit of posturing between the two of them, but you can tell that they mostly get along, and it's just a little bit of jockeying for dominance, and she submits and apologizes, and they move forward from there.
Their hearts are in the right place on this particular matter.
Yes.
Thistle, this reminds me. Can you tell Turtle thank you again next time you talk to it?
Yeah, absolutely.
This makes everything so much easier.
And Tim concludes by saying, well, I guess I should get to the city sooner rather than later, given our new development. My daughter wasn't expecting me till this afternoon, but I'm going to go ahead and head down there. And I will let you all know what I find out about the van, what I find out about any options of what to do with this poor kid. But I may not be back until this evening.
Tim was informed about the Black Spiral dancers, right?
Yeah, everybody knows.
All right, good.
that.
I just wanted to know if I needed to reinforce that or not. Okay.
I think he was one of the people that was there for Grudek's story, right?
Yeah, everyone was there. For
That's right. He was there when everybody
I
was
thought
there.
Tim was also there for all of our reports.
Okay.
Yeah, he was there for the
The
official elder reports, and also for this. Everyone was there for the story Grudek told.
I just
And
wanted
then
to make sure.
Tim also got each of your versions as well.
Yeah.
I
As
forgot
did
he was there for the briefing.
Yeah. Tea Tree and March Lion were both there for everyone's version.
I was more referring to the beneath the building Black Spirals.
Oh,
which I think we told him to, or at least he was there
yeah.
and we were telling others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the elders.
Yeah, because that was in the report that was given to the elders.
Yes.
Yeah. And that'd be Tim, Tea Tree, and March Lion.
Got
So they're all caught up. Yeah. And, like the Guardians and some of the lower ranking Sept members may not know the full details yet, but they'll be told as needed by the elders, probably.
And Grudek, slightly unrelated question, but I just remembered.
Of course.
If we're going to be sharing the signs there with the bone gnawers as well, would they need printed copies or would digital work?
I'm going to ask Michelle again out of character. I assume digital would be fine, but some printed copies probably wouldn't go amiss.
For Bongos, he's got a cell phone, he's cool. But then some of the members of the Golden Gate Sept are actually homeless people who do not have working electronics and would probably appreciate paper copies as well.
Okay. A little bit of both, if you could. We can those who have devices can certainly share if you drop it off with Bongo at Borderlands, but the others, maybe you bring some printed copies we could put up and give to him.
As far as digital copies, I'm assuming you know who to send those off to, and you have what I have. I'll make sure some prints get made for them as well.
Grudek says, "Well, I mean, unless I'm using someone's computer, I don't have access. So probably if you could make extra stop at Borderlands, and just
sure.
ask Bongo to, he'll do it, no problem."
Does Borderlands have the ability to print?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then we
yes.
Then we could kill two birds with one stone there. We could get the prints that we
Right.
need done and get the information to Bongos.
Mm-hmm.
Who is
Ours.
Bongos?
He's is he the Sept leader? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, for a given definition of Sept, there's like 6 of them or something.
Yeah. He's Sept leader for Golden Gate Sept, for Bone Gnawer Sept Shadow in City.
And he runs this...
Yeah, I just didn't want to barge in where we're not welcome. So I wanted to check with you first.
Oh no! Just tell him Grudek sent you. He probably have some wonderful words about me, but you let him know next time I stop over to Billy Wilkes. I'll get him some of that coffee he liked so much last time. Okay?
We can pass that along.
So
Are you guys going to stop by the bookstore before you go into the suburbs? Or are
I
you going to?
assume we're going to the suburbs first.
That was my
that's-
assumption as well.
Yeah, that's a
That's
little more
Suzanne, at the
time
very least.
sensitive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, if you want, How long do you expect this conversation is going to take? I can drop you off, go to Borderlands, get what I need done there, and come back.
Depends on how long Thistle wants me to make it last.
Yeah,
I can
was
have us
gonna
in and
say,
out of
we
there
can make
in
it last as long
45
as you
seconds
need.
flat.
Or we can just run into the building, make a scene, run out.
There is once again the mental projection of Grudek, like, oh, you.
This is your personal matter. It's your field. It's up to you how long you want to make it go.
In battlefield tactics, shock and awe tends to work well.
This is not a battlefield, Shadow, but I appreciate that sentiment.
Love is a battlefield, though.
Thistle, do you think love can bloom on the battlefield?
I don't see how that's relevant, but I assume that's how more Guru get made.
Jack, you're going to make Stormheart break out of the cage.
All right. So, little Emma is in pretty much a holding pattern for a while. She could easily spend, the next hour or two just sitting there silently watching the other kids play. Tim is in the process of leaving the cairn himself to go to the city. So, unless there's anything else that you guys want to take care of before they arrive at Thistle's place.
I will look at Silver Glare. I'm glad you returned safely.
Oh, thank you.
And then I will go find Rips and see about getting my hands on a weapon, and then that's all I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
And I'm just gonna keep hanging out, keeping an eye on the kids and seeing if anyone comes up and expresses, any interest in the new arrival.
Okay. The only other kids at the Sept are Alma's kids. The tail singer, Alma Sonyodora. She has a 4-year-old boy and a toddler, but they're usually mostly with her, so they're not super interested in New Girl, who's older than them anyway. So mostly just Siobhan and Oshin hang out with Emma and try to pretend that she's not super creepy. And then what kind of weapon in particular are you going to be asking Rips about?
I just want to see if he has like a hammer or something that I could use in my Hamid form. Like,
Okay.
I'm borrowing C's blade, but I would like something of my own.
All right. So he rummages around in the their arsenal or what have you, and he just he just comes out with just like a big old hammer. It's seen better days, but it'll serve its purpose. He's like, "Don't make me sorry I gave you this, all right?"
I'll take it, heft it. This will work well. Thank you, Rips.
All right. And then I guess he can be giving you a few pointers and the proper usage of it while
I'll just be training.
suburban confrontation is going on. He's got not much better to do at the moment than train a newbie, so he'll be doing that. All right. So unless you have, do you have like a strong visual on what Thistle's house is like growing up?
Go for it.
So just kind of like your standard kind of California suburban, boxy stucco thing, like a, about the color of banana pudding kind of stucco with a red tile roof on it. Wide driveway leading up to a white garage door. Nicely tended yard.
I've seen shite like this on television.
Yeah, there's like a palm tree, and stuff.
The
It's very
American dream.
All right, this is your call. Do you want me to head to Borderlands now, or wait for you to get done with this?
I'll be honest, I'm a little worried if Borderlands kicks up something big that we have to deal with right away. We should have as many people as are able to be there.
Also, if Tig does something especially Tigish, you might need to leave quickly. And I say that with love.
I know
Tig,
the
you
local bus routes, if that's...
I'm shocked, hurt, and offended.
Sure we are.
I don't believe you.
It's called sarcasm there, Shadow. You'd get the hang of it eventually.
All right, so if that's what you want, I'll wait here.
All right. Just circle around halfway on the block so it doesn't look like the cars. Or just stay out here, either way.
Are we going for over-intensive, artistically disreputable, or aloof and detached, artistically disreputable?
Whichever works for you.
Dealer's choice, then. I can appreciate that. All right, let's do this.
Are you familiar with hipsters, Tig?
We call them shitheads where I'm come from.
I think you can pull one off.
I can be a right bloody wanker.
I want to hear your best performance.
All right. Well, if we've arrived, this will take Tig probably by the hand or the waist and start heading out of the car.
All right.
When
cute
Tig will
little-
just drape an arm around their shoulders and swan right up to the front door.
C will
Unlock.
do a drive around the block as soon as they're gone.
So Thistle unlocks and goes in.
Yep.
All right. Amelia is actually in the kitchen, in the middle of making something or other.
I'm home.
Oh, thank God, Frank. Thistle's home. And you hear sort of like a pissed off grunt from the general direction of where your dad's like workshop is, where he works on his little, handyman projects, and he does not emerge.
Hi, Frank. This is Tiger Blood. He's my new one.
Oh,
Pleasure to meet you. You must be the mother I've heard so much about. It's a rather bourgeois setup you've got for yourself here. I'm quite impressed by the amount of material decadence you've managed to set up for yourselves.
Amelia just looks like deer in headlights and like
Thistle will
dusts off her hands.
give Tig a quick kiss on the cheek. Make yourself at home. I just need to grab a few things from my room. I'll be right out.
So before you disappear again,
Like halfway up the stairs.
Where
Leans back.
exactly is Amelia sitting in the kitchen right now?
she's standing. She's like, she was doing some food prep on the counter, and so she's standing like just kind of in the middle of the kitchen.
Tag just sort of points at the nearest cabinet. Do you mind? And goes looking for food.
This is
Right. Help yourself. There's more. There's snacks and things in that one over there. The tall one. Chips.
I will be like, Tig, the liquor cabinet's the third one down, the keys in the thing above it.
Excellent. Are you thinking dark or light for this morning?
Dealer's choice.
Tig, if they have any good coffee, get it.
Amelia looks like she's about.
What
to
do
get
you
the
want,
papers.
Mom?
Can we just talk for just a few minutes? I'm sure that you have things that you need to do, but we haven't really talked since all this mess with your biological father, and there's some things that I want to go over with you while you're here, since heaven knows when he'll be back. So,
So wait, Amelia has left the room with Thistle now?
Is attempting to lure Thistle into like the dining room off the kitchen,
Okay.
like to
All right.
sit.
Thistle will rope Tig back in, like, and sort of drapes herself around him. Anything you want to say to me, you can say in front of my boyfriend.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's very nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you so
Hi.
much for your hospitality. It's delightful to sometimes be invited into a place like this so you can get a real idea what life's like on the inside.
Yes. Well, as I said, make yourself at home, and
I will. And he disentangles himself from Thistle and goes and finds a liquor bottle, the most empty one he can find, actually.
Okay.
Just polish it off.
Well, if it's all right to talk about this stuff in front of him, then I will. Thistle, I know that you're a very smart and independent person, and I think that's important in this world to have those qualities. But I'm just a little bit worried because, the past few months, things have been a little bit different, and the thing about your biological father that I didn't mention when you first asked about him.
Sound of shattering glass from the other room.
Oh, are you all right in there?
I'll find a broom or something and clean it up.
The
I could make a
broom is-
mosaic out of these bits, actually. Do you have a wee canvas bag or something I can put this in? Something not too overly synthetic.
Well, there's
Yeah, I got
flashback-
some in my room.
I'll run up and tell me which one is it.
This little third door on the right.
Bada, up the stairs.
Right. So, your biological father, Tim. Did you get a chance to meet him ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a problem with that?
No,
Is this another
no,
biology's important, except for when I say it isn't?
no. I just wanted to warn you that Tim, he never hurt me in any way. He was very kind, very considerate, but there was something about him that just wasn't quite right. That was why we broke things off. He
Mom?
frightened me.
It's called drugs. It's called drugs.
The
I've
drugs
noticed.
actually calmed him down, I think. But there is something.
There are more than one drug, and
Right.
sure.
So I'm
sure.
just worried that I'm worried that he might hurt you. He never hurt me, but there is something about him. He's a very tall, strong man, and there's something about him that I always sensed as though there were potential for violence in him. And as I said, he never hurt me, but I saw him get very angry once at another man who
Sound
yelled
of
something
toilet
at me on the
flushing
street.
directly from the direction of the master bedroom.
And there was an incident with this man, and he did hurt him fairly badly, and that was why we broke up.
Oh no, a masculine presenting person who has a significant physical height and potentially an emotional spectrum. We must stop people from having that sort of presentation.
Well, it wasn't just presentation. He beat the tar out of him. So I just
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. But okay,
Right.
yeah,
Just-
sure.
I just don't want him to hurt you, all right?
I
So
get
just be
back.
careful
I was
around
beating
him.
the tar out of people.
Apparently Tim did. I need to
Oh.
get the full story from
I'll
you.
have to meet him at some point then.
But I actually
No, he
didn't
sounds
have
like
to work.
exactly the sort of people that I ran with back in the old country.
Right. Well, I don't want you to get in trouble with work. But I just wanted to let you know about that in case I
In
just
case
don't want you to
didn't know. Do
Well,
you really
right.
think I'm that unable to pick up on gendered signaling?
Well, as I said, you're very smart, but you didn't have the background with him that I did, so I thought I would share what I knew, and I guess I'll leave it up to you. And it's only because I'm concerned about you. That's all.
Neither
I
of
just
you
don't
are
want you-
entitled to me because of your biology.
And that's the other thing, Thistle. I feel the same thing with you lately that I felt with him. I feel that there's just so much anger in you, and I don't know why. I don't know what I've done, and it's just since you first started asking me about him, and I can't help but connect those two things and worry that he might be influenced.
Hey, give me a second. Tiger's blood, seriously, just make yourself at home. Mom's great or something. And Thistle will head up to her room.
Tag
Just
has
shakes her head and
by this
continues
point,
making whatever she was cooking on the counter.
Tag has by this point collected up all the glass, stashed it away in whatever he was able to find. There
You
was
all
no
right?
alcohol spilled on the floor. He drank
Okay.
all of it before he intentionally dropped the bottle on the tile. And he'll just sort of pause, and he will turn on his best charm for Amelia as much as possible. You have a lovely home, and I cannot wait to spend more time with y'all.
Do you think she's all right? Have you met Sir Father Tim?
I've heard a bit about him. He seems a gentle enough chap, and he's
Alright.
got access to some real prime stash. It's beautiful shite. And he'll return and walk out of the room upstairs and follow this.
I feel like I'm gonna have to end up explaining this to my half sister at some point. Yeah, Thistle will probably be heading back down at that point.
And Amelia is just resignedly continuing to make her whatever
yeah,
she was
I'm really
making on
not
the
sure
counter.
why you kept needling me about coming here. Whatever. Like sort of to Tig, and then flat down in the middle of the counter, not on any of the food, but like directly in the center of the counter as much as I can manage. There's about 5 different pamphlets on testosterone, on estrogen, and the effects of transition. Next time you're telling me, oh, your behavior's erratic. Oh, you shouldn't be this way. Oh, I'm uncomfortable. Oh, with how you are. Are you sure you're okay? You seem angry. Think a bit first about what you are well aware of in the institutional and systemic systems that you are employing for your benefit.
All right.
Especially if you want me to come back and talk to you more about how my birth father is unreasonable and dangerous, and I shouldn't be around him, and I'm too angry because I'm around him.
All right. Well,
And-
You're a perfect specimen of humanity, and I wouldn't have you any other way, darling. And he
Yeah.
plants a big fat kiss on the side of her neck.
all right.
This'll go back to draping around Tig.
As long as you're safe and you're happy, I'll just wait until you're ready to talk, I guess.
You know, for a great number of people in modern society, happiness and safety are sort of two ends of the opposite spectrum. And he gives her as roguish a wink as he can manage.
And not everyone has the same paradigm of safety and comfort.
All right.
I happen to like the trees. And will yank Tig on out.
Sees
And
waiting
he will
outs-
happily be yanked.
sees waiting outside, and he just, for only hearing about 3/4 of that conversation, I almost feel bad for her, but at the same time, that was brilliant.
Tag reaches
Uh,
inside his whatever shirt jacket combo he's wearing and just pulls out a rather sizable bottle of liquor and just hands it to C.
And
I don't.
Thistle's
drink, I don't know
phone
what they're gonna do with
buzzes
this.
once, and there's just one little text from Amelia saying, "I still love you," with a little heart emoji.
And over the telepathic link,
That
I
wasn't-
don't know what you were talking about. That was exactly shock and awe tactics.
Yeah, as much of this as possible was totally transmitted over the psychic link.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Talking out both sides of my brain.
Yeah, pretty much whoever isn't doing the talking can be like easily focusing
Yep.
on transmitting what's being said. So you all got to enjoy that little shock and awe stratagem.
All right, let's go to Borderlands, shall we?
Next time we'll have to fuck up your da.
Frank, I'm trying to avoid the words dad and mom outside of the context of specifically speaking to my mother, because now that I have 4, one of whom I'm not really sure the gender of, I feel like the terms become very confusing.
Frank it is.
Yep. And Frank historically is like one of those guys who's just like, you know what, I'm just going to be back here with my tools and I don't even want to know, you know.
I am George Washington with this shit.
Plausible deniability. If I don't
Exactly.
see
Yep. Yeah.
it.
They'll let me know
That
if
or you
somebody's
could bond
bleeding to
with
death.
Frank over
Otherwise.
shop and he could go to bat for us, whichever.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, John.
Oh no, I wasn't saying anything. I'm just fiddling with my hands.
Okay. So Borderlands is up next.
Yes.
Indeed.
Okay. So unfortunately, Bongos does not appear to be on shift today, or at least no one that matches the description that Grudek has given you is there. It's just like regular bookstore employees.
We're aware that he's the owner, though, right? So I kind of like ask whoever seems to be in the most managerial position. Would the owner happen to be in today, or would you happen to know where he's at?
Oh, there's a middle-aged woman working at the main desk, and she comes out from behind it and says, "Oh, actually, he's got the day off today. But is there something I can do for you?"
Yeah. One of his friends. What was Grudek's Hamid name?
It's Jurek Yankiewicz.
Yes. One of his personal friends, Jurek Yankiewicz, had a message that he wanted to get to him, but we were trying to see if we could pass it along.
Yeah, that's fine. I know Yurik. Yeah, what can we do for you?
Can Grudek is who does this person look like? I assume we can't transmit images, or can we?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Do I recognize her then?
Yeah, you know her. She's just one of the employees. She's not hip to Guru stuff, but she's very friendly with you. Her name's Linda. She's short, dark hair. You recognize her immediately because you've talked to her quite a bit.
Okay.
He's talked to everybody quite a bit.
Yeah, that's very fair. All right. And then Grudek sends. She's probably to be trusted, but doesn't know anything about the kinfolk or Guru. So, you can ask her, but maybe don't leave information with her.
Yeah. This was kind of a matter that Jurek wanted to be between the two of them. So just if you know where he tends to hang out, or if you know when he'll be back in, we can drop by again.
I don't know, but I can leave him a message that Jurek was looking for him, and
that one would
also,
probably be best.
Yeah, and if you, in the meantime, if you need anything here that I can help you with,
actually, we do need to do some printing. If we could.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure he would be fine with friends of Yurek's using the back office. I'll just unlock it for you.
We appreciate that.
So she goes back and unlocks the back office, and it's just got your basic, desktop computer, printer, fax machine, office stuff. It's kind of cluttered and small.
Assuming that we'll be coming back here, or Jurek will be coming back here for when we are getting copies for Bone Nars, this will just print out like 3 or 4 copies of the images for our Sept at this time.
Okay. And Linda doesn't seem particularly bothered by the fact that she doesn't know you guys. Like, Yurek's name seems to be like kind of all she needs to hear, and she just goes back about her business at the desk while you print your things.
While we're out here, I sort of send over the wave to Grudek. Do you happen to know Bongo's cell number?
Grudek would know it, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's
rattle off a number.
Yeah.
555 1 2 3 4.
I just punch the number into my cell phone and just send a copy of the image with the text from Grudek's pack. Watch out for these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tig is just browsing.
And you get back a text that says, "Cool beans." That's it.
Yep.
Grudek says, "See, I told you he loves coffee."
And
Is
Linda
coffee
kind of
typically cool?
No, the beans are, and then you know what? It's okay.
Linda keeps one eye on you guys, but
Yeah.
you're at least in the direction of the office, but she doesn't really interfere or anything. Just
Yeah, we
carries on.
just make the quick copies and then
Yeah.
on the way out. Thank you for that. Let him know whenever he gets back that Jurek was looking for him.
Okay. Will do.
I feel like Tig involved her in conversation while those two were doing the printing, asking for like book recommendations, what she likes. Asking local writers, that sort of thing. Playing up the Irish artist.
She does mention that the
Tig
super
is
famous.
still dressed like this.
Oh, hell yeah, he is.
Yeah.
She does mention that the super famous urban fantasy author Michelle Baker is going to be making an appearance at the store.
Michelle
weekend.
Baker, I love her works. Michelle Baker.
Brudek, you're getting
Waterflame.
very excited about something. I don't know
Check
why.
out- Check
Oh,
out
she
her
writes
newest
fantastic
book,
books.
Imposter
Shut-
Syndrome. It came out on March 13th, 2018, which
For
by our
anyone
timeline
who
is
is
many months
confused, Michelle has books. They're really good.
ago. Buy them.
I don't exactly know if these tour dates are dated or will be when you're viewing this.
Yeah.
I will have to learn how to read.
Moving on from my product placement. So are you guys gonna head back to the Sept after that, or?
Actually, before you leave, Thistle, while you're making copies, Grudek will say, "Do you think you could make a few extra? Maybe drop them off at Golden Gate Park, just so the Norse there don't get into any trouble. I'd like to make sure they know what the danger is."
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. I sent a text to Bongos with the image. Where would we drop them?
Just tell us how to deliver them and we'll do it.
I mean, not to get too on the nose about it, but is there like a special dumpster you guys gravitate towards? Or,
Craig, you'd probably know that big gosh, what did we decide it was? It was some kind of cypress, right?
Oh, the big
Yeah.
cypress tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the middle of the park is the center of their little weak, piddly little urban cairn, but that is the center of it. And so there's usually some actual bone gnars hanging out near it at any given time.
Grudek has a slightly, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed" tone to his voice as he says, "Tig, don't use a dumpster in the park. We use those in the city. In the park, we use cypress tree." And you can't quite tell if he's kidding or not about the dumpsters in the city thing.
You get a vibe from Tig of just the.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If Grudek tells us what to do, Thistle will print out a few extra copies.
Cypress. I found it. It's a Monterey cypress.
There we go. Yeah, so yeah, we'll print out a few extra copies and we'll head to the park.
I'll make the
Okay.
drop if you like.
Yeah, that's a good. Just tell them. Just tell them it's from Lump.
Tell them Grudek says hello. Bam, 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 bam.
You don't say it like Shadow did.
That was John.
That was John. Otherwise, Thistle would be really impressed with references from Shadow.
No, but I can completely picture Shadow going, Grudek says hello, and then as everyone winces, he's just like, he did.
Should I tell him you guys said anything?
I just put actually
You
an
are
image of the
talking
tree
too
into
fast.
Skype chat because I couldn't figure out how else to get it to you. But it's in Skype chat. That is the tree.
Yay!
We're in Golden Gate Park. The
Oh,
gigantic.
I know where you are talking about. Okay.
For those of you at home, just imagine a cypress tree.
Yep.
Mhm.
When Jack and I were in San Francisco, I saw that and I was like, Karen.
Landmark.
I'll put it up on Twitter.
All right, so we head to the Golden Gate Park with a few extra copies.
All
Yep.
right.
So as we drive down the road, some sort of mentally picturing where it's at, Tig will just be like, Tig will just tap C on the shoulder a little bit. Oh yeah, just pull over, pause a bit here, and I'll dash across. And once you come around the corner, I'll jump back in.
All right, I'll do a circle.
And he'll just sort of do a quick tuck and roll out of the vehicle with the
That's
the
one way to do it.
printouts, and just sort of doglope his way up to the up towards the cypress. Just seeing who's going to approach him.
There is a wait, what form is he in?
He's in Hamid, actually.
Okay.
Full Hamid right now. Yeah.
Okay. There is a rather impressive, large, shirtless dude with long locks, and he's pushing a suitcase and wearing stained pants and nothing else.
I'm assuming Grudek can identify for us the right people.
Yeah, what is his name? Michelle, I think we talked about him. What is his name?
Did we give him a name?
I don't think you had named him yet.
Okay.
His name is Mash.
All right. We'll call him Mash.
Okay.
So yeah, he's just like pushing this wheeled suitcase over the bumpy, grassy ground. It's very awkward, but he seems very attached to it.
Okay.
And
That's Mash. Just before you get too close, say hi. Tell him Lump has a message to keep the Naughter safe.
Hi there, Maya.
yeah.
Got
Yeah,
a message
what?
from Lump for you.
Ah, he kind of looks Tig up and down dubiously, but it's like, all right. What's going on?
Tig just gives him a grin. Well, there's some unsavory elements in the city you've got to hear, and given that you gents are a bit closer to, shall we call it, ground zero than the rest of us are, figured we should at least give you the heads up on what we were able to find. Keep an eye out for these fuckers. And he'll pass over the papers.
He flips through the pictures, and when he sees the one with the actual spiral on it, he just goes, "Ah, shit." All right.
Oh, took the words right out of my mouth.
Yep. All right. Thanks.
First thing.
I'll let the
Any
others know.
messages for our mutual friend?
No, we haven't had any trouble here yet, but we'll let you know.
Fair enough. Give us a shout.
And he just walks off, just letting out a stream of curses as he goes. Not
Grudek,
happy.
I like your friends. Like him very much.
A few people kind of make a wide berth as he walks by, cursing with his gigantic, muscular, shirtless form.
This
They're
is
like,
why
"Ooh."
we do or don't let the Ragabash deliver bad news.
Grudek sends back, well, we can't all have giant rock circles hiding a Sept away in the middle of a giant park, so we do what we can.
I'm just picturing Techno Viking pushing a broken down briefcase.
It's
Point
a
of
pretty
order.
alarming sight, to
Point
be
of
honest.
order. Is he as big as Shadow?
No one is as big as Shadow. No, he's not even as big as Tim, really, but for the average park goer, he's reasonably intimidating.
Okay.
And Tig
All
will
of the werewolves, aside from Thistle, are fairly large.
That's true. And
I
even
was actually
Thistle,
not.
even Thistle would be strangely intimidating to them because they can still sense.
Yeah.
Depending on how much rage you
And
currently have, they can kind of.
Thistle isn't tall or buff, but Thistle is a runner, so he's pretty lean and athletic.
He's imposing still.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's probably like they get a vague sense they probably don't want to fuck with her, like, Yeah.
And C's not physically imposing, but his presence is very imposing.
Yeah. It's that werewolf weird magnetism repulsion thing. Yeah.
The thing that Thistle is trying to convince their mom is the side effects of estrogen.
Yes. So emotional. Yeah. And it's not because I'm a wolf, really. I swear. Nothing to do with being a monster, really.
But as the vehicle makes its pass back around, Tygo will jump back in. Can we get back to the cairn? I need to talk to Silverglare as soon as I can.
All right, let's make our way back. I think we've got everything we needed to do done today.
All right.
Oh, not hardly, lad.
I think we've gotten all of the city errands for the moment done, though.
That, yes.
All right. And you guys on your drive back, take a moment to, strategize and discuss. I actually have to step away for just like 1 second. I'll be right back. I can still hear you, but I got to mute and step away for a second.
Okay. So I'm going to talk to some people when we get back to the cairn. Don't know if it's best I do it alone. Who all do you reckon the rest of you might be able to interface with and try and see if we can figure out what's what?
In regards to what in specific? I think I'm the only one who can talk to March Lion or any of the rest of my tribe about anything particularly important, so...
That's the thing. As I'm looking about here... Well, go ahead. Sorry, Thistle.
Tim's out right now, but he's my dad, and I probably could also ask about my half-sister without raising any red flags. Quite honestly, I am curious, absent what we're also talking about with potential dangers.
You have a half-sister. Is she Guru or is she just kinfolk?
Apparently she's a kinfolk cop.
Well, that's helpful. Having one of the Garda on our side might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, I think Tim's going to talk to her about the van and stuff.
You get the image of smashed rocks as Shadow is training with Rips by smashing rocks with a sledgehammer. I am actively next to Rips if you would like me to ask him anything.
There's a little sensation of cheerleading from Thistle. Go, Shadow, break the rocks. I don't know why you're doing that other than training, but go.
There's just like the soundtrack in the background. Strong man struck me. Strong.
No, what? The plan I'm working on here, like, all right. So we've a divided camp back at the Sept, where half the cairn comes primarily from one origin, half from another. And we know that there's at least one bad seed there in the mix. If we're going to get an idea of who that is, we're going to have to figure out exactly where the entire web goes. So it's not so much that I think you need to talk to anybody regarding specifics. You need to talk to them in generalities. Each individual person here in the Sept is going to have their own agendas, their own pursuits and goals and motivations. So we need to figure out who wants what their obstacles are, who their allies are, who their rivals are. We need to formulate a full picture, a wide-ranging survey of the entire Sept if we're going to be able to figure out who our our most likely victims and our most likely exploited individuals and our most likely traitors are?
I have an idea. Or I have someone that I could talk to. The Caller of the Wild.
We Brushfire.
Yeah. Obviously, her dad is a very capable theurge, but I'm a pretty low-ranked person who could just help out with what she needs, and I get the sense the other theurges don't give her the respect for that position she probably deserves.
That is because Brushfire is in our room.
Yeah, but
No, I definitely see where you're coming from. Giving Brushfire any assistance that they request would probably help get a bit of a view of whatever she's seen and what her perspective is on the rest of the cairn.
And on the other side of the
I get to see
discussion,
spirit stuff.
on the other side of that, I think I've probably pissed off Bridge Runner less than the rest of you at this point. So I'm happy to make contact with him when he returns.
I can ask about the defenders of the cairn through Rips and Silver Glare. See what the general disposition of our warriors is.
Like I said, I'm probably the only one who'll be able to get much out of most of the Uktana.
I'll fill in the gaps then.
Yeah, I had another thought, and see, I know this is your area more than it is mine, but I just sort of have a bad feeling. Stop me if I'm doing something that's wrong, but we combat the worm wherever it dwells. Is anyone else a little worried that someone might take that a little too... Sorry, I'm not supposed to make judgment calls on this. A little literally when it comes to the young child of worm parentage who recently arrived in the Sept?
That's definitely a concern.
That's why I'm right here.
Okay.
Fortunately, we have Grudak watching over her, but yes, any particularly overzealous guru who failed to see that this individual is a place where we can stop the worm from breeding rather than a place where it has already set its teeth might be a danger to her.
So long as the cairn warden has given his consent, then she should be fine. How long that lasts, though, I cannot say.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up. Felt like we were dancing around it, and
This
girl, I don't want this to become a Terra situation.
This girl is important. This is a chance to show that there is hope. If we can save one small child from the worm, then we can do so much more.
At the same time, we must not take risks. If this girl is already of the worm, then it is a bomb waiting to explode.
Don't use it. Especially not for an 8-year-old child.
There's sort of heavy silence coming from Grudak's part of the link.
All right, well, we'll see you all back there in about an hour then, I guess.
All right. So, does anybody who's currently at the Sept, did I unmuted? Okay, good. Anybody who's currently back at the Sept, are you going to be doing anything while you wait for your packmates to return?
I'm gonna.
Besides smashing things with hammers.
Well, yeah. So we've established that I'm probably currently like in the middle of a large pile of rubble that has been made in my training with the sledgehammer.
And Rips just seems to get a huge kick out of watching you learn how to swing that thing. He's just very pro violence.
As we're sitting here, as I'm training, I'm just gonna start talking, and asking. I'll go ahead and do it in character. Rips. How is the morale of the defenders of the cairn? The Sept seems uneasy as of late.
Right. Well, black spirals will do that to you. Well, the Guardians, that be Honeybee and Four Eyes and Cher and them, they not all of them have been informed yet about the black spirals underneath the building in the city you were talking about. So Cher knows. I told her she's she's a ragabash, so she's not the toughest of the lot. She's taking it all right, I guess. I'm as long as they show up when it's time to fight, I don't care how they feel about it, to be honest.
Do you think they are ready for such a fight?
Oh yeah, they're.
I
Yeah,
notice. I notice there are not many seasoned warriors amongst the Sept.
Right. Well, 10 years ago, the whole Sept got cleaned out pretty good. You'd have to ask Tim more about that because he was here. That's why we came. The London IPAC came because they were down a few. So yeah, we're a lot of us on the young side, but we had to build everything back up after that. But the Guardians we have now, there's 5 of them. They're all pretty well trained. They're all just Clearth, like you, except for their alpha, Colmillo. He's a foster, but he's not going to be fostered out anytime soon. He's got to stay here with his pack, and but yeah, he's the most experienced of them. But and I don't know if we're getting Honeybee back after what happened. She's still with her parents in Silicon Valley, the Glasswalkers. But hopefully she'll be back. So she's the Alrune of the lot, so.
I am concerned about our defenses in the event of an attack.
You and me both. But we got you now. We'll do all right.
I am not yet where I need to be. Smash another rock.
Well, keep working then. We need you. No, it's good to get 5, fresh warriors just in time for all this mess.
Indeed. And I'll sort of relay all that information back to the rest of the group, basically saying, hey, our defense is not great.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Shadow, when you go to talk to Guardians, maybe take Tig with you. Tig, we talked before a little bit about Cher, but again, I think she understands more than she lets on. Maybe you could ragabush a little bit there.
I might could do that.
I will accompany Tig then.
And Shadow, I think you talk just fine to the rest of them. Just Cher is there's a lot more there. She is I believe Silverfang, and to find lone Silverfang here, no others around, maybe is perfectly fine, but also seems suspicious to me.
Yeah, so I'll keep training then until the pack gets back, and then I'll hook up with Tig.
Okay. Grudek, you gonna do anything else before they show back up?
I think just keep on keeping an eye on the kids. So
Okay.
I really I'm not comfortable letting her out of sight, especially if Bridge Runner isn't back.
Understandable.
and then I want to get an idea of what Bridge Runner's reaction is before I leave.
Okay. So the rest of the pack returns around, I'm thinking sometime between 1 and 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets back. So again, you got to wait because now the park's pretty busy. So you got to loiter around the boulder for a while before you can all one at a time hop back over. But then you're good to go and hook back up with.
I will. Aaron, you're muted.
Aaron, you're muted.
Aaron, we can't hear you.
Right. So Thistle's probably found like a bit of moss or a specific tree near the boulder that looks vaguely like it might be of scientific interest and is like pretending to be a researcher of that thing.
Yeah, I'm loitering for a perfectly valid reason. Good plan.
Sees like right over her shoulder with his journal out, pretending to write stuff.
Zer
into
shoulder.
Right, Zer. Yes, Zer shoulder.
Happens.
Pretending to write stuff in the journal.
Tig is actually gonna wander up to Thistle there for a minute. A question for you. Do you have a spare, like a wee notebook or something,
Yep.
like a pen and paper I might be able to?
Yep.
Oh,
Hand it.
brilliant. Thank you.
It's just like a little square one. It seems like some sort of manga has been paper mache collaged onto the cover. It is rather unlikely that Tag will recognize it.
Tig has
some
no
kind
idea
of
who any of the characters are.
80s style mermaid. For those who might have some grounding in manga. To make a guess.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, no.
Starbucks. Duh.
I am almost certain that with this much exception of William, none of you are getting that one.
I'm more
It's
familiar with
vaguely familiar, but
I'm
probably
more
not.
familiar with manga than William is. So
Anyway,
It's the specific reference, not the general.
Okay. Got it.
right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Tig will kind of clutch it in his eventually huge Krynos paw and jump back over. Tig is dressed in non-bound clothes, so Tig is going to have to strip naked before he can get back over the boulder.
Seriously, don't worry about it too much.
I mean, you'll strip naked by transforming, but
Yeah, but then you also destroy the clothes, which is what he's trying to avoid. So yeah,
Naked Tig.
he will give everybody 5 seconds heads up, but he is not going to go hide behind a tree or anything, and then he just rips down to the buff, turns into Krynos, goes over the boulder.
I'll be waiting there with just holding a sledgehammer in my right hand and C's sword in my left. When they get down, I'll just hold the sword out towards C.
He takes it back.
Thank you. And then he'll just sort of heft the hammer. This is slightly more my wheelhouse. I've not yet figured out what a wheelhouse is.
It's part of a boat.
It's good little idioms. You're coming right along.
And then just drop the hand back, just holding it because I don't really have anywhere to sling it right now.
We'll have to get
I'm
you a
gonna
sling for that.
go find my wardrobe, and Shadow, I need to talk to 1 or 2 people, and then I'll come find you, and we'll go look up Cher. Yeah.
Indeed.
I'll go over to wherever Grudek's sitting.
Okay.
You need someone to relieve you, or?
Gridek looks around and says, "You want to sit for a while?"
Sure.
Okay.
Emma looks at Thistle with sort of wary interest, but doesn't
I'll
say
give her a
anything.
wave.
Gridek points at Thistle and say, "Remember, like Spider-Man, the superhero."
I was nice to her. I didn't do anything incredibly creepy, and I didn't turn into a wolf.
No.
She's studying Zer, and then she says, like, she hasn't said anything for a while, so this is the first word she's spoken in a while. But she just says, "Are you one?"
Thistle will. Mm-hmm. But I'm also what I am now. I'm not just one of those. I'm just not just that.
Am I one?
I don't think we'd know yet, but we don't think it's likely. Is that okay?
I don't want to be.
Well, then you aren't. Identity is what you make of it.
She looks very relieved by that. Okay.
C kind of meanders over. All right.
Are they still playing Stick Rock?
Yeah. They keep
Okay.
trying to get Emma to play too, and she just keeps shaking her head.
I think Griddick will hand Thistle the drawing books and boxes of magic markers that he collected from the cabin, and say, maybe once they finally get tired, you try to have them draw something. It was a good idea you had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Siobhan says, you wanna draw for a little while? If you don't want to play with us, we could draw. And Emma still looks, reluctant, but Siobhan just grabs some crayons and some paper and just starts going. She's very clearly just like assertive type A personality and is just taking charge of the whole situation.
Griddick crosses his arms and looks sort of, intentionally silly, fake grumpy at Siobhan. Says, "Oh, I see. So every time I ask, you don't want to draw, but Thistle comes and sure, you draw for her."
Well, game's getting kind of old anyway. Oshin keeps beating me somehow, so they start drawing.
C kind of just takes a moment to lock eyes with Emma, and just like there's no words, just that meeting of glances, and he just kind of nods, kind of understandingly.
And she looks a little uncomfortable, but she kind of nods back.
And then Griddick will say to her, "Emma, you okay to hang out here with Siobhan and Ocean and Thistle for a little bit? I'll be back soon. I'll bring some more food, okay?"
Okay. She looks excited by the food prospect.
Okay. And Griddick grins at her and then sort of tips Siobhan and Ocean a cheerful wink, and then says, Thanks, Thistle. You need anything? You drink enough water while you out?"
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Take a break.
All right.
I could actually use some water, actually, if you stop by some.
He immediately turns around and hands a cup that he had ready to go for the kids to see.
He just takes and starts slowly sipping. I'm always amazed when you just have this on hand.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
And Emma does actually take a piece of paper and some crayons and just sort of stares thoughtfully at the paper, holding a crayon, like she's intending to maybe try to draw something, but hasn't quite made up her mind yet.
So Tag would have shifted the lupus form, headed back towards his tent, keeping an eye out for either Hannah Bailey and or Estrella on the way.
Okay. Hannah and Estrella are actually hanging out together. They're working in one of the gardens. They're weeding one of the tomato plant areas.
Okay.
So they're both just kneeling down there, ripping stuff up out of the ground and caring for the tomato plants.
Yeah. He will stride past in a very salient fashion. If any of them look up, he'll give them a wink, go into his tent, shift back to either Glabro or Hamid, put on his clothes, and then come back out and just kind of lounge on the fence next to where they're at.
And Estrella spots him. It's like, "Hey, you look bored. You want to come help us weed?"
Ted gives her a look.
You can tell which ones are the weeds, right?
I think I'll be able to figure it out with a little helpful guidance, maybe from you two ladies.
And she just gives him a wink right back.
Yeah,
And
and he'll scramble over the fence and start getting his hands dirty.
Hannah just shakes her head. You know, she says, and Hannah at times has a bit of her mother's accent. And you may have noticed, Grudek's probably the only one who's been around enough to notice, but when she's speaking to people with American accents, she tends to use an American accent. But when she's talking to one of the London IPAC, she tends to adopt her mother's accent. And she seems to have lumped Tig in with, people from across the pond, so now she's switched back to her mom's accent. You know, you're not a keeper. You don't have to take care of the gardens with us. You're above this sort of thing.
My dad tried to beat that sort of status into me, and I can't help what my blood is, maybe, but I can help who I spend my time with, you know?
Well, it doesn't have to do with your parentage. I'm a Sept leader's daughter also. Here I am, pulling weeds out of the dirt. But you're Guru, so, you know, you're above that sort of thing, right?
It's a very interesting philosophy you've arranged for yourself there, young lady.
Oh, well, I understand well the hierarchy around here. Young lady, he says, and Estrella laughs.
Yeah, both of these have like at least 3 or 4 years on me, right?
I'm probably half a dozen years older than you. How old are you anyway, Tig?
17.
I'm only 2 years older than him, says Estrella. Well, I'm 23, if you're wondering.
So you're the one who's allowed to legally drink around here.
Not that I would touch the stuff anyway. It's disgusting. But to each his own.
And just lost Tig's interest.
a BioWare style.
Tig is still like right on the edge there, because on the one hand she doesn't drink, on the other hand more for me.
On that note, though, speaking of drinks and all, we should probably take a break and get some, right? So let's take about 15, come back and do more interrogations after the break.
All right,
sounds like
on a break.
Awesome.
Back in just a few.
Be right back.
And we're back.
We are back. Tyga's speaking to a couple of young kinfolk ladies while Thistle is probably by this point watching Emma draw a picture of the way her brother looked when he shifted into Krynos form.
Right.
She is purging her demons via art.
Hashtag art therapy.
But as you were saying, Hannah, about this hierarchy that we've got here, how exactly does that work anyway? I mean, I know your mother's at the top of as a Sept leader, but
It's not the same as where you come from.
well, there's Tri-Spirals where my dad runs the Sept. It's Fiona all the way down. He doesn't have to worry about.
Oh, that's what you mean, right? So you have the same positions, just not the same intertribal tensions.
Right. What's the I guess for lack of a better term, what's the court intrigue around here?
Well, the Uktena handle all of the spiritual side, and for the most part, the children of Gaia are administrative and defense, but there are a few Uktena also in administrative positions. And there has been some effort at mixing things a bit more. But as I understand it, whatever progress was made in that area before we came 10 years ago, sort of all came to a crashing halt. My mother's predecessor was her aunt. And she and Tim had apparently been making quite a bit of progress in convincing the Uktena to possibly train one of their own in some of their tribal rituals. But then there was a situation with a Get of Fenris member who sold us out to Pentex, and from what I understand, there was some terrible attack. A Bane attacked the cairn directly, and a great number of people died. And that's why my mother was called in to replace Celeste, her aunt. And a lot of positions had to be replaced. They had to get a new... I believe Tim was at the time the Wormfoe. He got promoted, and they had to get someone new to be Wormfoe, so Silverglare moved into that position, and the Right Master also passed away in the attack, and yes, it was apparently a bloodbath, but that was 10 years ago now, and they've mostly, I think, refilled all the positions, but whatever progress they were making toward integrating the tribes was lost.
So the Uktena decided to lump the Gaians in with the Get then, or because it sounds like that was more of a Fenris issue to cause the entire situation in the first place?
I may be remembering this incorrectly, but I think it was the Get of Fenris who was interested in learning the tribal rituals. And he was the one who sold them out.
Well, I can see how that will put a sour taste in someone's mouth for sure, but...
I find it dubious that the Uktena would ever have let Get of Fenris train with him in the first place. So I may be getting the story wrong, but that's how I heard it anyway. But yes, it was a Theurge who was apparently in Pentex's pocket and learned just enough to let them in on the Umbral side.
And Tag's gonna pull out his notebook at that point and sort of just jot down the kind of a bullet point list.
Oh, I didn't realize this was a lecture and that you would be taking notes. I should have been more cautious.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get my feet under me here and
Just don't put my name by any of that, because I can't guarantee that I got it all right. I wasn't even here when it happened. You'd have to ask, God, who was here? Well, all the older ones, March Lion and Tim, and Hot Eye, I guess, was also here then. But that's probably about all. We're all mostly replacements since then.
Sorry, if it makes you uncomfortable, I can. It's just I've a tendency to get into a wee bit of trouble myself sometimes.
No,
and,
it's all right. I mean, I haven't got much of a dog in that fight. It's just, I'm not even Garou, so I just keep the land, do what I'm told. Eventually, marry someone or other and make some more Garou. That's how it works.
And Tiger literally put the notebook in his back pocket and lay on his stomach with his elbows in the dirt and just get eye to eye with her. So what would you do then if you didn't have responsibilities like that?
I don't know, law school?
Ambitious girl, yeah.
I probably get that from my mother, the philodox. I've always been interested in that side of Garou culture, but I mean, that's what I grew up in. I was always, from day one, I was practically an honorary metis. I grew up with the Garou culture, and so I was always hoping. I was actually born under the half moon, but I never changed, so I would have been a philodox. And if I didn't have to do all this, I'd probably be a lawyer or something, judge. I get that from my mother. I like handing down pronouncements. But I'm not in charge of anything but tomatoes, so tomatoes, however you say it.
Well, Miss Barrister
Estrella has
Hannah.
just been kind of been sulking during this whole conversation. Are you done flirting with him, Hannah? God, he's like half your age. That's disgusting. I'm not flirting, for God's sake. On track mind. Sorry, don't mind her. Sometimes people like to discuss serious matters, Estrella, she's the youngest daughter, spoiled rotten. I'm not spoiled. Can't help it if I just happen to be better than all of my brothers and sisters. It's just how it happens sometimes.
Genetics, is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got the same genes. I just got lucky, I guess. Nope, same mom and everything as all of them. There's 5 of us.
I mean, not
And-
counting the other 2 lupus, but
For some reason, Estrella doesn't mention her canine siblings. Doesn't seem to be counting them for some reason.
What do your brothers and sisters do then, Estrella?
Well, Colmillo, he's the leader of the Guardian Pack, and Alma is the tail singer. And the rest of us are keepers, because we're kinfolk, not Garou.
Am I familiar with what a tail singer does?
The tail singer is the one who is generally a galliard, who
Right.
at every moot is the one who kind of catches everybody up on the news and
Right.
The Cairn
and
Crier.
and also will also sometimes tell like historical things about the history of the Sept. Usually knows that kind of thing, and that's Alma,
Okay.
another of March Lion's brood.
Right.
I think he's populated half the Sept.
Ty will just kind of keep a low-level banter going back and forth between all 3 of them there then for probably about another 10-15 minutes before dusting off his pants and excusing himself.
Okay.
Of course, with promises to meet up with them both again later.
Estrella seems pretty excited about that, and Hannah gives off that air of whatever.
And he will go find Shadow.
Shadow is not hard to find.
No, he's not. He's roughly the size of a barge.
Meanwhile, Emma
Emma
adds
wants,
to her
sorry.
drawing. Emma adds a window and a drawing to draw what must be Thistle in
Yeah.
the window,
Mhm.
and stealing little glances at Thistle to see if Z notices.
Yeah.
That is to
If
say-
she seems to be like looking to Thistle to see if Thistle notices, Thistle will walk over. Do you want to show me your picture?
Does that look like you?
Look at it.
It
Yeah, I think so.
has, like short
Yeah.
brownish hair, but you know, she's 8. I don't
Yeah.
remember what you were wearing. What
Hmm.
color?
Purple.
Okay. She grabs a purple crayon and goes
Yeah.
to town.
Mhm. Yeah.
Look over at Tig. Are you finished with your talk?
First steps of it, yeah. There's more lurking beneath the surface here. A lot more.
Were you broadcasting back to the rest?
No.
So,
Make
unrelated to
things
that.
difficult. Why don't
It's
you?
fine. No, it's absolutely fine because unrelated to that, I was thinking something, whatever caused the events of 10 years ago, seems to have, at the very least, not helped the relations between the tribes of this sept.
And at that point is when he will recount pretty much everything that Hannah told him.
For everyone through the
With-
link, or just out loud?
To everyone through the link.
Mhm.
With the caveat that she's like, I might not be remembering this entirely correctly, but this at least is our first like kind of hard testimony on what may or may not have caused the current divisions in the Sept.
I was wanting, when he returns, I was wanting to speak to the Cairn Warder about it. If it was one of my kin that caused this, then I would like to know who and why.
There's just like the faintest acknowledgement that almost sounds like it's halfway through a physical exertion, because it's just vaguely a grunt over the over the comms from C as he is in Krynos form, currently basically carving down small training dummies that he's set up with his sword, trying to get a feel for how his sword feels in Krynos form.
And at some point, Hadai actually wanders over. As the gatekeeper, he doesn't have much to do unless he's dealing with visitors, so he just kind of wanders over and starts watching and making occasional comments like, "Oh, nice one. Remember that in that form, your center of gravity is shifted slightly back," you know, and he's just giving like metis advice for
He
fighting in Krynos form.
as he is a menace, he takes all of that into stride and tries to adjust as best he can.
I'm not certain if we will learn much from speaking with the members of the cairn that have come after. Aside from that, at the very least, in Rip's estimation and potentially my own, I'm not certain if we're prepared for an assault should it happen again.
Well, then I reckon we better dig in a bit more to the history of this. Hannah mentioned Tautai was one who has been here for a while, as well as March Lion. I'm thinking of going to talk to Alma, though. Tale singer, she'd be fairly well steeped in the local lore and probably know it at least as well. And maybe being one of the younger group, she might be a little more receptive to a brief inquiry from a newcomer.
Seems like a correct path to follow.
Well, I guess I'll go see if I can hunt her down then.
I will come with you. I would
Appreciate it.
learn this information firsthand.
So Tag's gonna go look for Alma.
Me
Okay.
too.
Now, what you would know about Alma, other than that she is a tale singer, is that she is also second rank, what they would call a foster, and usually rank 2 Guru are shipped out to other cairns. That's how Bridge Runner ended up here.
Study abroad program.
Yeah. But she's also March Lyon's daughter, so that may have something to do with the fact why she's still here, as is his other rank 2 child, Colneo.
Mhm.
So almost definitely Uktena.
Yeah.
Got it.
So it is a little odd that Alma and Colneo would not be fostered out to other Septs at this point at their
Mhm.
rank. And that's the only thing you would know about them that's at all, odd.
Non-standard.
Alma is, as usual, hanging out with a toddler on one hip. Her other son is just running around playing. He's about 4, and he's just running around like he's had 6 espressos, just, being
Right.
a 4-year-old boy. And she's just keeping an eye on him while she bounces her other sort of sleepy-looking toddler.
As we approach, and in the greeting process, I see your cubs have much energy. Looking at the one running around,
Yeah, they sure do.
they remind me of my own.
Had to be boys, didn't it? Yeah. So how many cubs do you have? I forget. They said 5 or something.
Many.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky yours grow up so fast.
Hmm. Unlucky in that I do not get to spend as much time with them.
It's true. I wouldn't give up a minute of it.
And if
So
the young,
Robert-
and if the older boy ever like runs closer, I'll do the I'll do the dad playing with child thing of just like roar and just like doing the fake like challenge stuff.
And of course he obligingly screams and runs the other way,
Yeah.
giggling.
Tig is just like, well, this is gone completely off the rails.
I'm not following him. I'm just doing it from a stationary
No,
position.
he was just right, yeah.
And she's like the rest of her siblings, she has a clear resemblance to Mark Twain, that same sort of, quick, wiry frame. But she has like a slightly dreamier look. She's got really big dark eyes and, has a little more of a artist vibe about her.
Tail Singer, I was wondering if I might oblige you if I might ask a question or two.
Okay, sure. I know the tales. That's my thing.
I assume then you know the prophecies as well.
Oh, no, that's okay, the prophecies, that's mostly the people on the spiritual side know more about that, especially Morning Cloud. You'd want to ask her because she's the only one here, unless your friend C knows, but because isn't he like her cousin or something? Anyway, she's the one who knows the language that is written, and it's a basically dead language, but she grew up speaking it, so she's the only one who knows the prophecy, by heart, word for word, and she's translated it for March Lyon, and he knows her translation of it pretty well. But I don't know it at all, except that it says that you guys are going to save the world or something.
Out of game, do I know that language? Considering my research, I don't think I would, but
Nope.
didn't think so.
Unfortunately, no. You were not raised in that crazy cult, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, then, as far as the history goes, we've been hearing rumors and wee bits of referential stories and that sort of thing. What happened 10 years ago?
10 years ago. Oh. Yeah. Let me check something really quick.
Okay.
Like her exact age. Okay. Yeah.
And he'll literally be sitting on the ground with the book out and pen in hand, so it's not like it's very clear that he's interested and wants details and he wants to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Right. I wasn't much past my first change when that happened. I was actually part of a guardian pack at the time. We did not guard well, but honestly, we were blindsided. We had no idea that it was coming until the spirit sounded the alarm, but it was coming so fast by that point we didn't have enough time to muster the people who weren't here. I can't even really say I was in the battle. I was sort of at the fringes of it. I got disabled pretty quickly, so I didn't see much of what happened, but it was a horrible tentacled monstrosity that just materialized right in the middle of the cairn. And there was nothing we could do other than, and all I remember is that it went straight for those 5 redwoods and started ripping into the ground like it was trying to uproot the trees. It didn't waste any time, and we all just piled on it. I mean, there was nothing we could do. We didn't have time for a lot of strategy. Tim was amazing. He kept his cool, and our actual cairn warder at the time was somewhat elderly, and we hadn't seen battle in so long that I guess he just didn't know what to do. And so Tim ended up kind of rallying everybody into the closest thing we had to a defense. And but I was in the battle for maybe 90 seconds before one of those tentacles hit me, and there was something just toxic about it. It wasn't like a regular blow to the head. I felt like the thing ripped my head off, and then I was out for the rest of the fight. The next thing I was aware of, it was all over, and they ripped the thing to shreds, but most of us were dead.
What's underneath the grove then? What was it after?
I guess it was just, digging up the trees that are the cairn center. I don't know. That's, more the spiritual side of the cairn. They know more about the significance of all that, how they keep the land and what everything means, the symbolism of the circle and all that. I don't know. But it sure wanted to dig up the trees. That's all I know.
Can Tag make a... Sorry, what was that from Grudek?
He was saying, ask her what they call it.
The circle of redwoods.
No, the creature.
Right, yeah.
Creature.
It was this, Grudek's a Galliard. He wants to know the name of the monster.
Right. You said there was a bane, evil spirit. What? Anything like? Does it have a name?
They never gave it a name that I heard. Nobody seemed to identify it when it showed up, and then, once it was dead, there wasn't a lot of discussion about the creature itself. It was mostly about the Pentex company that had somehow arranged this. They're defunct now completely, though. Those that were left in the Sept did a good job of cooperating with the Glasswalkers and the Bone Gnars, and they really zeroed in on that arm of Pentex and their history now. So we don't have to worry about a repeat of that, but...
How did it happen in the first place?
So this arm of Pentex, it was a tour company, Bright Horizon Tours. It was like corporate tours and stuff. And they had people apparently that had been scoping out the park, getting, special inside passes to see areas of the park that aren't open to the public. And somehow or other, they figured out the approximate location of the center of the cairn, and they, I don't know what they offered our Theurge, who betrayed us, but apparently he led this bane that they'd been nurturing directly to the heart of the cairn through the umbra.
And who was this theurge?
God, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be telling you guys this stuff because, like, you know, you're rank 1 or whatever, but also the prophecy, and so whatever. You know, I'll get in trouble if I get in trouble, but I feel like anything I know, you should know. And I'm blanking on his name. I'm sorry, but I think he was a Silver Fang. I want to say he was a theurge. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a Silver Fang. Cher might know. She's a Silver Fang. She might
What?
know what his name was.
Out of curiosity, aside from Rips and myself, have there ever been any more of my kind in the Sept?
Not since I've been here, I don't think. Honestly, I get you guys tribes all mixed up sometimes, but I don't think there have been any other yet. It's mostly been Children of Gaia and the occasional Glasswalker or Fianna, but all the Glasswalkers died in that battle. There were like 3 of them at the time, I think.
Just throughout I know it's probably unnecessary, but throughout the mental leak, Shadow's just highlighting Silver Fang, Geta Fenris, question mark.
Yep. Yep.
But keep in mind, this was 10 years ago.
Mm.
I was 19, and so my memory may not be the best.
Mm.
It was like a third of my life ago. So
When there's a moment, C actually does have a question for Hot Eye.
okay.
I don't have anything else for
Alma.
All right. So as he's practicing, he kind of turns and looks at Hot Eye. You're one of the ones who lived through the events 10 years ago, correct?
They've been talking to you about that. Yeah, that was rough.
I've actually got questions about before.
Oh, okay.
How well do you know the guru, not necessarily just of this cairn, but of this region from, I don't even know if it would be just within the past earlier 10 years, but perhaps even farther ago?
Well, let's see. I've been here. How long has it been now? It's been almost 40 years I've been here. So anybody who's been here that long, I could.
Do you remember a man, black hair turning gray, known for a shell necklace with a feather crown, rather tall, white body paint, although that might have been death paint?
This doesn't ring a bell at all. Did you see a photograph or something, or?
No, I saw his ghost.
Oh, son. Well,
Oh, this is the conversation we're having. Well, you should have led with that.
that that would be one of your ancestors, more than likely, son.
I had guessed. I was wondering if perhaps it was someone who was known.
Well, if it's one of your ancestors, that's likely going to be one of the Guru, one of the Eastern Claw. You're probably going to want to either March Lion or your cousin, Sharon Morning Cloud, might know more about that particular group that your family, that the Guru side of your family comes from. They're very isolated. really only I don't know actually if Tea Tree has ever had dealings with them. That used to be the Sept leader's responsibility, but I only knew about the Sept leader dealing with them when it was Celeste who was in charge here. I don't know in the past 10 years that we've had any dealings with the Eastern Claw, but yeah, there used to be 5 Septs in this area. When I say it used to be, I mean thousands of years ago. But where the Eastern Claw Sept was, there's now that group that you know about that your family came from. They are squatting on the same land that used to be a cairn thousands of years ago. But I don't know very much about them. But it's got to be one of the Eastern Claw Guru that you saw. It matches up. I mean, you're talking about wearing feathers and shells, and this is someone from long, long ago, one of the natives of this area.
I should speak with either Morning Cloud or Marsh Lion then.
Yeah, and not to put too fine a point on it, but speak with him if you see him again.
Hopefully I will. I appreciate the information. He kind of reverts to his Homid form and goes to look for March Lion.
Okay. March Lion is sort of taking his usual wolf nap at the center of the cairn in the redwood circle.
March Lion.
He lifts his head, blinks his little wolfy eyes, and looks at C, and then he gets up and gives himself a full body shake, shifts into Homid form. What can I do for you?
I have questions about the Eastern Claw.
I thought you might. What would you want to know?
I've seen one of my ancestors, and I was hoping you might know more. And he goes to the same description again.
Okay. All right. Trying to boil it down to what would be most relevant to you. It's thousands of years of history here, but this area used to be, there were 5 Uktena Septs in the area. Western Eye, the Eastern Eye, the Heart, the Western Claw, and the Eastern Claw. As I understand it, thousands and thousands of years ago, all of the Septs joined together to fight off terrible evil, and all of the Septs were destroyed except for this one. But when the Europeans invaded, there were a certain number of the Guru who were not willing to accommodate and were consequently mostly slaughtered, except for a handful of them that moved back down to the Eastern Claw area because it still had some protections where they were able to hide from the Europeans, and they all just moved down there and were basically not heard from again. They became very isolationist, and only in the past few decades did they make contact with our Sept again because they were beginning to have problems. They were descended from about 13 people. So you can imagine some of the problems they were having after all these generations. And they made contact with us and said, can you help us? Can you send us some fresh blood just to keep us going? And as I understand it, that's more or less how your mother came to be. That they imported one of our kinfolk to go down there and help them out. And yeah, so there's been an exchange going on where that we would send them people, and they would in exchange occasionally send us one of their Guru warriors, and that's how we got Morning Cloud. She was when she went through her first change, she was offered to our Sept, and we accepted her. And I believe it was your mother who brought her to us. She was 12 or 13 at the time. And then I assumed your mother went back to the Eastern Claw, but now I'm being told that that never happened. She never returned to them, and here you are. So we're grateful for that, I guess. But but we still don't have what I would call a very open relationship with them. They need what they need from us. They get it. They give us what they give us. But they know that we cooperate with the children of Gaia, with other tribes, and so they don't let us onto their grounds. They consider us more or less tainted. And yeah, so that's about all I can tell you about them. But they are the ones who had that prophecy. And
you wouldn't recognize the man I described then.
No, my guess is that it's someone who would have been long, long dead before any of us were around. So just, listen to him. If he's appearing to you, there are things that he wants to tell you, and you may just need to be patient.
And those who are now residing in those lands who seem so aggressive towards outsiders, are they of the little brother?
They were Uktena as well.
Mm.
One second while I change my headset battery.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's nice. It's nice that there's a musical theme for Shadow, at least. That continues to revive.
That's mostly my musical theme in general. Just
that's your
I use that to
jingle.
It's easy to fill space with it.
But I find it. He only appeared to me for a moment and did not say anything, but
Bless you.
I only wonder at what the import of his appearance is and when I might encounter him again.
Be patient. The ancestors have mysterious ways at times, but he may still be struggling to contact you. Your change was fairly recent, so it may just take some time before he can tap into the connection that you share.
There's still so much I need to learn.
I know, it's hard when you're young, I remember.
He just kind of stares off into the middle distance for a second. Well, I thank you for what information you've been able to give me. Do you suspect Morning Cloud might know more?
She would, but maybe she'll talk to you. She's a tough nut to crack sometimes, but I think she'll talk to you. And, see anybody else talking about Hot Eye would have told him that the guy hardly ever speaks, but C hasn't found that to be true personally. So,
I mean, Hot Eye talks to me as soon as I show up.
Yep, pretty much. Hot Eye seems really to have bonded with you for some reason. So, she's a little guarded, but you can give it a try.
Out of curiosity, William, has C been broadcasting any of his conversation to the rest of the pack?
Not with Hot Eye and not with March Lion.
Okay, cool. Just want to check.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Respecting that their preferences in that. Okay, that's good to know. All right.
For Tig's purposes, as he's been sitting there listening to Alma talk, he's been making notes of those points in his notebook in that writing style he has to make it a little less easily read by other people.
Okay.
And when Shadow comes to the last of his questions, he'll stand up and thank Alma. We don't wish to take up any overdue necessity of your time. Where would we find Morning Cloud?
She's the keeper of the land, so she's normally around, tending the gardens or like the boundaries of the Sept, making sure that everything's still nice and overgrown.
Very well. Thank you
She's
so
always
much.
around here somewhere. No problem. In the meantime, Emma has finished her drawing of her slavering bat-eared monster of a brother and Thistle in the window, and she's tried to sort of approximate the other pack members in the room as well, and she's made Shadow out to be some sort of just hideous monster, and Tig isn't looking so hot either in this drawing.
I'm always looking hot.
But then she looks at Thistle and says, "Am I gonna stay here?"
They don't let me decide that, but I think what's most important is making sure you're somewhere that's safe, that's comfortable, and that you want to be.
Is this another gang like my brother?
No. Some of us change like your brother does, but we try and be nice and heroes and help people.
She looks very dubious, like that's a thing. Like
And
you can tell she hasn't had
Thistle
much experience with this as a concept.
Thistle will. Did you ever? What books do you like?
She sort of hangs her head. I don't know how to read.
Oh, that's okay. It's really hard to learn. Do you like picture books? Yeah. And this will pull a few things that Z grabbed out of the room. Do you want to go through these with me?
Okay.
They're about superheroes. Like us, who are a little weird and scary, but try really hard to help people.
Why?
Because people like you are super special and awesome and amazing, and we want you all to be as happy as possible all the time.
Emma looks like Thistle just hit her between the eyes with a 2x4. Like, this is clearly something she's never heard in her entire life.
Children of Gaia, bitch.
Ethan's the special one. I'm not special.
I'm not saying Ethan's not special, but you're special too. And you're special in a different way than Ethan is. Because you know what Ethan's not?
What?
Ethan's not Emma. You're Emma. And Emma's special in her own way, right?
What way?
What way do you want to be special?
And again, this is a question that she's clearly never even begun to consider in her life. So she just kind of falls silent and seems like she's like pondering this entirely new concept and just starts kind of working on her drawing again.
Yeah.
Thistle's got the cogs turning. And I think we'll actually call it there for now, unless anybody has anything else they want to wrap up real quick.
All right.
Just waiting for Bridge Runner to come back.
Yeah.
And Tim.
Yep. In the evening, there will be more conversations, I'm sure.
All right. Well, say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.